I think we can all agree there's a lot of talent in the league. And this is not necessarily a legacy talk, but in some ways it is, because I think there's a difference between really talented guys who can make first team All-NBA, and all-time greats. And ultimately, I think the combination, it's not just MVPs to me, the combination of some level of playoff success where you can take a team to at least conference finals or finals as the best player, and some level of sustained excellence, longevity. I think longevity to me probably plays as much a part besides team success and individual success when we talk about all-time greats. How many all-time greats do you think potentially are in the game right now?
Well, two right off the top, right? I say already are.
Oh, let me say this. I should say that. LeBron and Steph,
are
already in the top 10, and I think Kevin Durant is arguably in the top 11 or 12, and easily top 15.
So do you want to go beyond those three?
Yeah.
So here's, to me, to even entertain that question and start throwing names out, I feel like you got to have, okay, to this point,
a criteria.
Obviously, the talent has to be there, right, on that level. And that's pretty, we can name those guys quick. But then, like, okay, there's got to be at least some level of, like, team success to this point, right? So you think that, okay, this potentially could be a guy that leads teams to championships or multiple championships, because that's what it's going to take to get in the list, what we're talking about. I guess you start thinking about names like Jason Tatum, Luka, Giannis. Would they be the three guys at the top of the list? Obviously, Jokic. Would they be the three guys, the guys at the top of the list? I mean, am I missing somebody? Because you want to start naming some of the really young guys that have this incredible talent, but really have had no taste of team success yet. That's a real leap. And even maybe people would say, well, man, how could you say Tatum or whoever and put him in the category with these other guys? I don't know. Guy, it seems like he makes a perennial appearance right now in the Final Four of the NBA, right? He's a conference finalist like all the time. Elite level talent. He's the right age that if this turns and he wins multiple championships as the best player on the team, and he's going to put up 25 to 30,000 points in his career if he stays healthy, okay, now you're in that category. I mean, so I think he would be a guy that I would say at least can drop the name.
I would throw Embiid in there as certainly having a chance to be an all-time great. Already won an MVP, already won 2 scoring titles. I think for sure to get into that 15 to 20 range right now, where we're saying, that's the projection, then it's obviously the postseason success, getting to the conference finals or potentially winning a championship.
Okay, I'll be the Richard.
I love it.
I'll be the Richard.
I love it.
So Bob McAdoo won an MVP and wasn't one of the 50 greatest, right? Wasn't one of the 50 greatest. And this was in the 90s, so it was like there was less. So just because you win an MVP, say Joel Embiid, doesn't mean that you're an all-time great, right? Not yet. You can win an MVP. You're not an all-time great yet, because you're talking about the length of the league. And if we're going to talk about an all-time great, that's like who has a chance to be a top 15, 20 player when they're done. I think there's a few guys that have a chance. There's a few guys, Jason Tatum being one of them. I think if we were to rank the people, in my opinion, that today, right now, if we were to rank, we know it's Steph and LeBron. We know that KD is right on the outside. So it's everybody else. I would put Jokic and Giannis like tied. I would put them tied. Because when you look at the MVPs, you look at the championships, I think when you start, yes, Giannis's numbers are through the roof, but I think Jokic is going to have, you add those assist numbers in there and those things start to get really weird where the exclusive company he is in. Does he have a chance to be the all-time triple-double leader? He has a chance at that. He definitely is most likely going to finish top 3 if he doesn't get injured. But outside of that, I don't see anyone right now. I would include Jason Tatum. I don't see that from Jason Tatum. I don't see...
How about Luka?
I don't see that from Luka yet. I don't even a guy like Kawhi that has 2 finals MVPs. I wouldn't put him in that all-time great. Now, if he were to lead the Clippers to another championship, boy, he moves up about 10 spots, because that first championship, we know he was not the reason that they got to the finals. He was not he wasn't an all-star that year. He had an outstanding playoff and an outstanding finals.
He was not the clear number one.
He was not the clear number one, but he was one of those dudes. So that's a difference. In Toronto, clear number one. That was all him. It was one of the more impressive. But even then, if there's not a torn ACL and a torn Achilles on the other side, I'm going to say that they probably wouldn't have won that. That's just my opinion.
Unfortunately for him, all the time missed will hurt him because who knows what he could have accomplished in all that time. And now maybe we're like already putting him kind of like close to that. By the way, are you talking, to be more specific, are you talking like top 10 ever?
Let's say top 20.
Are you saying top 20?
Well, no, I think it's interesting because the two guys that you brought up outside of Durant, who could potentially, by the way, win a third Finals MVP, win a third championship this year.
Right.
What does that do
Window's
to his?
still open for him,
yeah. But I think the two guys are, Jokic and Giannis, and they both have 2 MVPs. They both have a Finals MVP. They both have a championship. There's 6 players in NBA history. We talked about this week on Islands in the League. There's 6 players in NBA history who have won multiple MVPs, multiple Finals MVPs, and multiple championships. It's Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, Magic Johnson, LeBron, Kareem, MJ, right? All those guys are top 10 guys. Like, they're top 10 guys. So Jokic and Giannis,
More
to me, are the closest outside of Kevin Durant.
Think about, and look, you could pull up probably 20 different lists of whoever's ranking these players, right? Who knows? I mean, ESPN did it a few years ago. So a lot of the same names in there, but not necessarily in the same order. But what you do see on most of these lists, when you start getting down to like that 7, 8, 9, 10, look at the names we're talking about that are kind of occupy those spots that some of these guys would have to jump. Like, if you look at lists, that's where you see like a Kobe. That's where you see a Tim Duncan.
I've got the list.
That's where
right.
you see a Shaq.
You're like, yo, is he going to
That's
pass?
what I'm saying.
No. Wait. They have a chance. Like, Giannis and Embiid can definitely win 3 more. Giannis and Jokic can win 3 more championships in the course of their career. Yeah. If they end with the same number of shots, there would be a legitimate argument there.
Yeah. They're the 2 names definitely that would have to be the top list, other than Steph and LeBron.
I got one thing to tell you really quickly.
Tell me.
The league needs one of those guys. We don't think about that from that perspective. Well, I love it when I say something and JJ's eyes get big. It's a few times that we probably get along. Where are you going with this? Want me to continue?
Finish your
So
thought.
this is what I would say, and we know this because we work for digital broadcasting companies. There's rating wise, LeBron, Steph, everyone else. And that doesn't mean that guys aren't in that, but it's like LeBron is clear above Steph. Then there's Steph. Steph is clear above everyone else. So when we having this conversation about who is the next guy, who is going to be the next guy that can carry and be an all-time great, that's pressure that I don't think a lot of people fully understand that.